Hello everyone, I'm Bill. Welcome back to my channel. This video is a campaign update for the Dark Sun campaign, which I am a player in, not the game master. So my notes are definitely incomplete, and sometimes I don't take enough notes. And that might be the case for this video because I got two different game nights that I'm trying to combine into this one video. And I'm thinking that maybe a little bit of information is missing. So fellow players and Game Master, if you want to put comments under this video of stuff that's missing, or when something might have happened, or how something happened different than what I remember or took notes on, go ahead and add it. So the party, after finishing exploring the ruined town as of the previous adventure, we head back to town. We were close to the next site we wanted to explore, but we went back to town for two reasons. One, we could go back to town and resupply. And two, using a little bit of metagaming in not a bad way, we could go back to town and pick up the player that had just joined that game session, where he missed the game session before. So his characters weren't with us, so we went back to town, pick him up, and go on to the next one. While we were in town, we rest for a day there, and then we head back out. But while we're in town, his fighter had been there a week, and he started investigating the murder of the council member. He concluded that the council member himself died by snakebite, but he is not 100% sure what killed the maid. So after his investigation and after our rest, we head out towards the altar area where peoples went there and went missing. So we travel a good distance and then we make camp. We try to travel at night when it's cold and make camp during the day when it's hot, try to find low areas in the sand dunes and such, and throw up a few tents. Especially since our characters are not from the desert, that's been the best way we've traveled. We get attacked as we break camp by archers firing at us. The party that attacked us numbered 11. The consistency of the group that attacked us were the half-dwarven slaves of Dark Sun. Ort got surrounded by 5 of them, and he took those 5 on himself, and the rest of the party dealt with the others. But in this process, Ort lost 2/3 of his hit points by the end of the fight. We raid what supplies we could from them, which wasn't much. And after that, we begin heading to the altar. At the altar, Ort's patrolling around the altar to make sure we're not getting ambushed. Everyone else is investigating the writings, the area, and whatnot. They find lots of writings in Undercommon, and they find skeletons with marks on the scapula and the necks. While they're investigating all this, parts of the floor that they're standing on collapses down. As we end up in the bowels of this area, because Ort doesn't wait, he joins them, we get attacked by a bunch of bugs. Pretty good sized bugs too. Instead of fighting them, which is unusual for the players that I know and am a part of, how we've played this Dark Sun campaign's been very opposite what we normally do, so it's been very entertaining for our game master to go, but I expect you to do this. You always do this. Why aren't you doing this? So instead, we're retreating and we're throwing flasks of oil and setting them on fire and burning some bugs and hoarding some bugs away from us instead of actually fighting them. After the bugs retreat, or after the fires die down and enough of the bugs have been beaten, we begin harvesting the bugs mostly the kobold assassins harvesting the bugs, as he's looking for any poison glands they might have, anything he can take that he can later use. And that was the end of that part of that game's night's worth of adventures. So the next time we played, we start from there. We go down a corridor opposite of the areas that the bugs were in, and we enter a big room after a twisting corridor. The room, the best way I can describe it, looks like an Egyptian preparation mummy room. We find a chest that is glue trapped, and the kobold finds a bag in it. The dwarf goes down one of the 3 corridors. We hear breathing behind one of the doors, or at least the kobold assassin hears breathing behind one of the doors. And then the breathing stops. He hears water. We open the door and we see a large area of water. Hoya, my scion cat folk, she uses detect thoughts. As we were, and I jumped ahead, as we entered the room, we end up seeing this dragon, I do believe, or we begin talking and come to the conclusion that it's a dragon. I don't remember which happened first, but I do remember at one point I was like, well, if we do this the normal way, we're going to be fighting a dragon. If we're fighting a dragon at our level, which was, I believe it's like 3 or 4, if we fight a dragon at this level, we are not going to do good. And the chances are, with all the damage we've taken up to this point, we're really not going to do good. So I had a magical item from last game before we entered Dark Sun on Hoya, and she takes over the negotiations with the dragon and donates a spell storing rod to the dragon to get safe passage to and through here. But the dragon makes the terms that we can't return this direction through this area of its lair. So we agree, and we continue exploring onwards. So we navigate through the pool area to the next area, which required a little bit of swimming. The pool area got deep enough that some of us had to swim a good bit. And then others of us just hitched rides. Like, I believe the kobold was riding on top of the walrus the whole time. We find a platform. After we get on it, 3 creatures approach in the water and attack. Hoya and Ort are paralyzed with fear from whatever these creatures are using, or are. The walrus has successfully killed one in one turn, and the kobold had poisoned one. The dwarf is fighting one. Everyone gangs up on the last 2 and kill them. Ort kills the last one. So Ort, my character's fighter barbarian, was able to deal the damage to the last one and kill it. On a side note, we gained our first level since we started playing this adventure. And then I have notes here on what I still need to do to level up my fighter, barbarian, and my scion. So that's what I remember, what my notes are. There may have been something else that happened, but I'm not too sure. If so, add it to the comments below. Increase the story, as it were. I am having lots of fun in this Dark Sun campaign because I have read hardly anything on the information of this setting, so everything is new and fun for me. Well, until we meet again.